Hello guys, so I'm back. It's been a while, but I'm just making a video today on Qubic, and I'm going to talk about Qubic and CAS, which are two projects that I'm invested in, that I'm extremely bullish on, and I'm just going to compare the two projects and talk openly and as honestly as I can about the two projects and where they're at. So let's get into it. Yeah, so guys, first of all, sorry. So as you know, if you follow this channel, you probably know I haven't made a video for a while. I just want you to know I'm still super bullish on both CAS and Qubic. Qubic for me is my number one project, not dissing CAS in any sort of way, but it's just my number one pick for a project that interests me. And I'll explain why in this video, but that's in no way saying anything bad about CAS either. I've got, to be completely transparent, I've got a bigger holding in Qubic, but I've got a big holding in CAS as well. And I think both projects will run super well. I think CAS might run better during this run, but this cycle. But let's see. The reason I haven't made videos, I'm more bullish than ever on Qubic and CAS. But the reason that I haven't made videos is basically the whole market's down. It's hard to get views in videos, and I've been super busy at the same time. So basically making these videos is a hobby. Like I'm earning $5 to about $10 per video that I make. So it's just a hobby. It's not a big earner at the moment. $5 to $10 if I'm lucky. So then when I'm super busy, I can't prioritize it. While if we're in the middle of a big bull run and there was loads of views coming in, I'd be like, right, gotta get a video out every day. But that's why I haven't made any lately. I'm hoping that I'll be less busy over the next few weeks and I'll get a chance to catch up, because I've got a lot of things to cover. And I want to catch up with a lot of things. So I'm probably sharing a bit of old news early on here, but Quotary has been launched in the beta phase on Qubic. So showing again that Qubic is already smart contract ready. They've released Quotary, and I'm going to talk about Quotary in way more detail in an upcoming video, because this is a unique development that's really unique to Qubic, and it's decentralized betting platform, and this could be absolutely massive if it's done correctly, but we'll see how it works out. So I want to share more details with you on that eventually, but we're still in the very, very early phases of that project, so it's going to be interesting to see how it's done. And then we've got Qubic, which is released on the iOS wallet. And as I said just here in a post recently, that the wallet is live on iOS. It might not seem like the biggest deal, but this makes Qubic far more accessible. Every day, Qubic is advancing and developing. And if you're following Qubic in their Discord or on X, you'll see the amount of advancements and development that's happening here is huge. And then I said, remember, the technology already works, and the unique qualities of this project are already set in stone and already work. And I need to see more use cases and proof of that happening, but I'll explain at some point why Quotary is proof of some of that happening already. So all that hard work has already been done. Now it's just a case of people understanding why Qubic is so unique and powerful, and providing users with more ways to access and more use cases and ways to trade Qubic. That's the way to do it. So every release like this is a big one for what's already a great project. And then we see just in the tech updates that they've already released that iOS app, as we said, and now they're preparing the Android app for release, and it's probably going to be released really, really soon. And then I noted here that, and I'm going to get into this in more detail in an upcoming video. This is understanding the bigger ecosystem of what's going on with Qubic, but Quotary, the new decentralized betting platform, if you actually look at the bets, you see that there's a 2% fee for every bet. So that, if you use traditional betting platforms, it's generally a 5% fee. So there's actually lower fees associated with using Quotary just for a start off, but there's a 2% fee, and then 2% of the Qubic bet is all burned, which is going to lead to that deflationary element of Qubic. So that's really, really interesting. And as I said here, you've seen that 2% burns on Quotary, and how that can happen every day, and how this product could become a massive worldwide product, just Quotary by itself. You can see how much that will burn. I'll talk about that in more detail in an upcoming video, but I just said this is a massive eye-opener. this one app could burn a lot of Qubic every day if it gets even moderate use. Now imagine 1,000 apps working on the Qubic network. The burn rate would be massive. You might think, you might think to yourself, there probably won't be thousands of apps on Qubic. But what I'm saying to you is, I think if things go as planned, there will be thousands of apps operating on Qubic, burning so much Qubic that I imagine the steering committee and the governance over Qubic are probably going to vote to increase inflation on Qubic to power all these apps, because there just won't be enough Qubic in existence. There's too much to be burned. Sorry, just having a drink of coffee because, as I said, I'm so busy. I'm trying to keep myself awake here. So this is then a breakdown that I went into, and this is going to piss some people off because I know there's a lot of cast holders subscribe to this channel, and I want to really start off by saying is I'm a huge believer in CAS, and I think CAS is going to be super, super successful. I think it already is. I think it's delivering Satoshi's vision. It's what Satoshi wanted Bitcoin to be. I think it could be the top cryptocurrency project by far. I think it might perform far better than Qubic does. Might have a higher market cap than Qubic will ever reach. Eventually in the future, I think CAS. I don't think CAS's market cap right now. I think Qubic will reach that, but in the future, I think it could be. CAS could be unreachable. So I'm really, as an investment, I think CAS is incredible. As a technology, I think it's incredible. But I'd see, when I'm on X, for some reason, there's a lot of hate towards Qubic from CAS holders, and I'm not sure what the reason is. And I think it's beginning to go the other way, and I don't like it. But I believe in both projects, and I hold both projects. But, completely being transparent here, I hold more Qubic than I do CAS. But I don't believe in any way that I can pump the price of either of these. So I'm just sharing my thoughts, and I'm open to being wrong about things. But I wanted to talk about what's the biggest issue that I see for Qubic right now, and then I wanted to just talk about some elements that compare to CAS. And the reason that I'm picking CAS is because CAS is a revolutionary project and seen by many as the most revolutionary crypto project ever created, and that's where I want to draw some comparisons. But you could transfer, this isn't picking on CAS, you could put Bitcoin in there, you could put Ethereum in, but I just picked the best of the best, which was CAS, and then I wanted to discuss Qubic around that. So let's get into it anyway and see what I say. And just as I said, if you're a CAS holder, don't click away. I'm not saying that you have to buy Qubic. CAS is going to perform fine. It's going to do great. I'm just trying to have open conversations, and I'm open to you guys sharing points that are valid facts and figures to prove me wrong, and maybe I'll change my mind. I'm just giving my opinion. But I started off here by saying the biggest issue facing Qubic right now, and I said this is the reason this project might struggle to achieve the level of success it should. Qubic is an incredible project, in my opinion, from what I can see, and it isn't pie in the sky at this point, because I've heard people claim it's pie in the sky without much facts behind it. The project actually is working as expected, and it is the most performative project out there. And then I said, side note, because this is important, maybe there are other projects that are more performative, but I just haven't explored every project. And, if there is a project that's more performative, I just haven't seen it. CAS is the most performative project that I'm seeing out there right now, other than Qubic. I'm going to take another sip of coffee. Hold on. Then I go on to say, but the issue that Qubic is facing is that it is quite complicated to understand. I think it is hard to grasp all the details of the project, and it confuses people so they don't realize how next level this project is. And that was a big issue that I had to start. It took me basically 6 months to figure out what Qubic is and what it does, and I'm still not 100% there. I'm still getting there all the time. So then I went into a comparison, right? And again, don't be triggered by this. I'm just talking about CAS, and I'm using it as the benchmark that every project should be measured against, and a great performing project. So I said compare Qubic to CAS, for example. CAS is a great project and a revolutionary project. And let me start by saying I believe in CAS. I own a lot of CAS. For me anyway, I own a lot of CAS. Maybe some people wouldn't think I own loads of CAS, but for me, I own a lot anyway. I think for the amount of money I have to invest, I think CAS will perform exceptionally. Your money is super safe in CAS, so there's no problems with that. And then I said, but, and I know I'll get hate for this, in my opinion, it just factually isn't as performative as Qubic. I'm going to break that down, but CAS is easy to understand. If you read about CAS for an hour, you'll get it. CAS is what Bitcoin and Ethereum were meant to be. CAS achieved what Bitcoin and Ethereum and basically every other project were trying to achieve for all those years. People are understanding this, and so they're investing their hard-earned money in it. And that's perfect. CAS doesn't need to be any more than that. It's perfect. So we're not dissing CAS here. We're using this incredible project as a benchmark to talk about Qubic and show why this should be performing better in terms of price action as well, which, the price action is depressing right now. So I said Qubic has actually achieved the same outcome that CAS has, but in a different way, with some added bonuses that are hard to understand. And that's the thing with Qubic. It's quite confusing. And it's hard to understand how Qubic has achieved what CAS has achieved is another part of it. So these are the reasons I believe Qubic is more performative than CAS. So I said Qubic is super scalable in that it can scale to 40 million transactions per second. It's running straight out of bare metal. It uses CPU and GPU, and it doesn't even use decimal points to be as performative as it possibly can. So it's super, super, super scalable. We'll talk in later videos about why it needs to be that scalable, because to run the transactions of the world, you only need to run about 3,000 transactions per second, and Qubic is way, way higher than that. But there's a reason for that, because it's got a way bigger picture going on than thinking of running all the financial transactions of the world. So Qubic is at least as decentralized as CAS, and I need to break down this down in the video. But Qubic is, so if you take Bitcoin for example, and CAS works in a similar way, there is a chance that, like, I think a sixth of all Bitcoin mined is mined by the same mining group. So that mining group has a sixth of the power over the Bitcoin network. And most blockchains that are mined, a similar thing can happen to them. And in that element, they actually become not as decentralized as people would think. Even if you take Space Mesh, which is meant to be the most decentralized crypto out there, Space Mesh, someone with a huge mining rack, buildings full of it, can come and be the biggest miner of Space Mesh possible, and all of a sudden they're mining 20% of that crypto. They've got huge power over the network, and it suddenly goes from being decentralized to be not as decentralized as possible. And that can happen with CAS. Qubic, on the other hand, has 676 different computers, or computers I think is the right word, in their quorum. And then each of those computers has the power to build mining pools under them. So you or I could mine in a pool under one of these computers, but still, even no matter how powerful one of those mining networks gets, they're still only going to own one of 676 of the whole Qubic network and have that voting power over the network. So basically, it's impossible for anyone ever to get 51% power over the Qubic network, but it is possible with CAS, it is possible with Bitcoin and other cryptos. Now, whatever you feel about that, I'm just talking about a fact there. So it's at least as decentralized as CAS is what I'm saying. I don't even want to go and say it's more decentralized, but it is at least as decentralized. And in many respects, because of the quorum and being the first quorum out there, it appears to be more decentralized than any crypto ever. So then I'd say that I think it is at least as efficient as CAS in energy to mine, but I'm not sure of this either. So I mean, the power that it takes to actually mine Qubic, I think it is as efficient as CAS, but I don't know that factually. So it's going to take me time to try and prove that. So I don't know that. Possibly CAS is, and if any of you guys can share facts on that, I'm completely open to that. I said also that I think it is secure as CAS, but I'm not 100% sure of that either. I really want to look more into Qubic's security elements, and they're going to be releasing more information and papers eventually. It appears to be very secure, but compared to CAS, I don't know. I honestly don't know. But what I can say is that it's super scalable. So Qubic is more scalable than Cas right now. It's very secure. I don't know, is it as secure as Cas? I can't say that for definite. And I can say at least it's decentralized. So it does solve the trilemma. And that's just where I want to talk about in performance space. So basically you could say they're 50-50 when it comes to this, but maybe Cas is more secure. I don't know. And Qubic appears to definitely be more scalable right now. But for what Cas is trying to do, it doesn't need to be as scalable as Qubic. And then I said it uses that mining power to train AI. It's already a supercomputer. Apparently, it's the 6th biggest supercomputer that exists. It is more ecologically viable than Cas because its useful proof of work that mining power goes through to training AI. It's cheaper to use than Cas because Qubic is actually feeless, while Cas is close to feeless anyway. It doesn't really matter, but Qubic is just feeless, and it already has active smart contracts which are running successfully, as we can see from Quotary. It already has oracles, as we can see again from Quotary. Quotary is pulling data from external sources, so oracles are active and working on Qubic. So we could already see smart contracts and oracles working as a proof of concept on the Qubic network, and it already has decentralized apps built on it. So there are things that Cas doesn't have. I'm just talking about factual information there, and I don't think any of you can deny it there, but you can probably explain to me that Cas might be more secure. That's possible. I don't know. And you might be able to explain that just how Cas mines, it might be more efficient. But I know Qubic's designed to reward the most efficient miners. So I feel like they're probably as efficient as each other, but I don't know that factually. But I do know that Qubic then is more efficient because it puts that power towards something. So just speaking facts there, and if you hate it, that's just the way it is. So I said, if you think Cas is more performative than Qubic, maybe you're right and maybe I'm wrong. I'm far from super smart or technical person, so I'm open to hearing the other side of this. Basically, is what I said. I can't really see, but on why Cas is more performative or superior to Qubic. So if you have those facts, please comment with them, but please don't just comment baselessly and say stuff like Cas is way better than Qubic, or it just is, man, lol, it's so obvious, lol, which that's what I hear from people all the time. These are not factual statements. Factual statements are saying things like Cas is faster than Qubic, achieves A or B transactions per second. Cas is more secure than Qubic because of A or B. Cas is cheaper than Qubic because of A or B. Cas is more efficient than Qubic because of A or B. Cas is more decentralized than Qubic because, and so on and so on. And the issue is, I put this statement up on X, and it got over 20,000, I think maybe 30,000 views. It got a lot of views anyway. And Cas people commented on it, but nobody commented with any facts of why. I'm sharing facts and information on why Qubic is more performative, and no one shared any facts on why Cas is more performative, which was interesting. So then I said, for reference, I think it's worth noting, Qubic is proven to send 40 million transactions per second. Now that's in test environments, so let's see how that plays out. But bear in mind, it runs straight out of RAM. It uses CPU. It appears that it should be very, very high performance, but let's see what happens with that. Qubic is proven to be feeless already. So you can see that for yourself. Send Qubic from one Qubic wallet to another Qubic wallet, you're going to see that it's feeless. Qubic is efficient to mine because it operates straight out of RAM. So again, it's very efficient. That's proven already. Qubic uses miners' GPU and CPU for efficiency. Already proven. We're seeing that actually happening. Qubic uses miners' power to train AI, which again comes down to efficiency because it's using power for active reason. Proven already. But we have to see the outputs of that as well. That's if I'm going to give the pros, I have to give the negatives. I want to see more outputs of what this AI training is to prove that efficiency. And I guess time's going to tell on that, and we'll see how that works. The Qubic quorum makes it very decentralized. So as I explained, if you've got 676 different, doesn't seem like a huge number, but you've got 676 people, and that's the lowest amount of decentralization that you can ever have on Qubic. So no one can ever take up 51% of the network. No one can ever control 20% of the network. No one can ever control 10% of the network. 676, one of 676 is the most you can ever control, and there's governance built into Qubic so that if anyone ever tried to take 2 of those computer spots, they would get folded out and be seen to do that. It's very, very hard to take over the Qubic network and become completely powerful. That's where something I've got to discuss in other upcoming videos is governance and how important that is in crypto and how Qubic uses that effectively. So then, I went on to say that Qubic is at least as decentralized as CAS. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to say it's more decentralized, but I just want to make the point that there's probably a good chance that some company right now is mining 10% of CAS right now, which would make it less decentralized than Qubic, and that's just a fact. That as far as I'm concerned, but maybe someone will point out something else. And then I said I don't know factually if Qubic is more efficient or secure than CAS, and they're good points to make. I can't prove that, especially. Qubic I think is more efficient in terms of using that energy, but I don't know if it's more efficient to mine than CAS. But I think they're probably pretty level. And as far as security goes, I gotta look into that more. I don't know for a fact that because secure entails a lot of things, and only time's gonna tell which is more secure, CAS or Qubic. So that's an interesting one. But they both. Definitely CAS is super secure as far as I know, and Qubic appears to be very secure, but I've got to look into that for more proof. I've got to look into for more proof on how secure CAS is as well, if I'm honest, but let's see. I said another legitimate concern around Qubic will be that Qubic has a burn system that should be super effective, but until that is 100% proven stabilized supply, it is a big question mark. And CAS has that halving system in place, so halvings are happening. Is it every month? I think it's happening so regularly with CAS that it's constantly reductions in reductions in supply while demand is continuing at the same level. While with Qubic, you've got that inflation that's happening, and we're not seeing the burns yet, and that's got to be proven over time for Qubic to be really as successful as we think it is. So trying to keep level on this, that's a huge point in CAS's favour, and time's going to tell with Qubic how successful it'll be in that section. And then I said, and the other issue is that people just won't catch on to Qubic because they don't understand it. And maybe that's it. Maybe just the average investor never really understands what Qubic's about, and they don't invest in it. And it's a great project, but it just never gets that traction. 100% possible, and something that's 100% guaranteed is that people are catching on to CAS, and they're going to continue to catch on to CAS. And it's more than likely going to be a top 3, top 2, who knows, even a top 1 project. So CAS, as far as price action, has just incredible potential, probably the highest potential of any of these projects. And then I just said, I don't have a favourite project for any other reason than I want to make money. So that's the really important thing here. I said, if I find facts to go against my thoughts that Qubic is the most outstanding project, I will simply jump ship to the better project. I don't support crypto projects like a football team. I just focus on what appears to be the best project. And through my admittedly not super smart, not super educated, or not super skilled eyes, it just looks to be the best project. If you think my mind is worth changing, please give me some other projects that are better, is what I said. And then someone just said, agree, maybe their marketing team could focus on one idea at a time, like recycling mining energy to train AI, like a bike dynamo seems very innovative and easy to understand. AI, but decentralized Qubic is like a city where oil is free to encourage its users. And that's just interesting how, they could work on these ideas to market Qubic better. And my thoughts are that CAS is going to perform from its bottom to its top better than Qubic is. But then I think Qubic, I'm in it earlier, and that's why I have a bigger element of my money in Qubic. Probably if CAS and Qubic were starting out today, both with the same market cap, I'd put more money into CAS, but I'd kind of look at Qubic as that's the project I think might change the world more. But I think CAS is the one that's going to make me the most money. But from here, with the market caps they have, I think Qubic potentially does. It's a higher risk bet, but I think it potentially over the next 5 or 6 years does more multiples than CAS does. That's all I've got for you today, guys. Hope I did not piss off any CAS followers on this this video. I really love that project, and I'm going to be buying more casts whenever I can. But I'm just going to share things as honestly as I see them in the market. I will see you all on the outside.